A man who joined the search for Gus Lamont alongside the little boy's devastated father says he's certain the 4-year-old isn't on the property and has ruled out bizarre conspiracy theories. It's now been 9 days since Gus disappeared without a trace in the state's outback.
Now, that man that was searching alongside Gus's father is Jason O'Connell. It's interesting that at this point, Gus's father or mother, neither of them have actually appeared on camera. Isn't that strange?
Local Jason O'Connell knows the land out here like the back of his hand.
I just don't get how he vanished like that.
When the alarm was raised about a little boy lost on a property near Yunta, he was given police approval to help search. Day and night, he walked the expansive property looking for little Gus.
It's actually not ideal to have folks walking around at night, including at night, in terms of the situation. I mean, we might be dealing with a crime scene, and so you don't really want people walking around unsupervised. It really makes me nervous when searchers exclude the immediate surroundings. We've seen 3 cases where that happened prematurely, only for the searchers to discover that the missing child was much closer than anyone imagined. JonBenet Ramsey found in the basement of her own home hours after a reported kidnapping. Madeleine McCann, vestiges found in apartment 5A 3 months after she went missing. Nora Corrin, found less than a mile from the lodge where she went missing in an area the searchers had previously searched and excluded. The list goes on. Little Kaylee Anthony found, a quarter mile from the home. But then there are exceptions. There's Gannon Stork, an 11-year-old boy from Colorado, who was ultimately found next to a highway in Florida. And that was a case where someone went to a lot of trouble to take someone very far away. The Morphew case is not a missing child, but it's a missing woman. She was also found a considerable distance from her home, ultimately. And is that something we are dealing with here?
I got nightmares in my head, I fear. Thoughts build up until I can't feel. My mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear.
The youngster's devastated dad by his side.
My heart breaks for him. All dads love their boys, all the kids. So, it's just hard.
Again, one has got to wonder, where is that heartbroken dad? And this guy, Jason O'Connell, also mentions all the kids, which suggests that this little boy that's been missing, Gus Lamont, doesn't he actually have brothers and sisters? Is he an only child, or are there other children in this family? Are there possibly stepchildren? Are there uncles and aunts? What is the actual family dynamic here? But before we get to that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. If you're finding this analysis worthwhile, please do hit the thanks button. Are you taking notes during these videos? Well, do you have a notebook, and do you have a TCRS notebook? Check the description for a link to buy them. And let's get started. On the face of it, I do agree with Jason O'Connell, who says, the boy probably isn't at the location, and that is because of the dogs. If the dogs weren't able to pick up a scent, then I don't think there is a scent. And if there's not a scent, it's because the boy simply left the area and not on foot. So my advice would be, before you start looking somewhere else entirely, make absolutely sure to exclude the areas at least where there is water. As I've said before, water is notoriously difficult to search, and we've seen time and again folks overestimating their abilities to search in water, most notably in the Nicola Bully case, also the Kylie Rodney search. O'Connell has also discussed the possibility of natural predators in the area, something that we brought up previously on this channel.
Jason's got 20 years experience in the SES and skills in tracking. Never has he found absolutely no trace like this.
It's been searched, he's not there.
And he believes the conspiracy theories are just that.
It's not going to happen. A wedgetail will pick up a kilo or two, they're not going to pick up a 4-year-old.
I wouldn't say a wedgetail is a conspiracy theory. It's a theory. Maybe not a very good theory, but certainly not a conspiracy theory.
There's no pigs, there's no wild dogs, there's no foxes.
And of course, if you are going to exclude all natural possibilities, and if the child didn't wander off, and if the child is not in that area, then we do need to start looking at vehicle movement in the area, all vehicle movement, including from the vehicle used at the station. Vehicle movement was key to figuring out the Chloe Smith disappearance. It was also essential to exclude her from the immediate search area, and that decision ultimately turned out to be well-founded.
He's not somewhere out here on the property. Where is Gus? Every piece of information in relation to this very high-profile missing persons case will now be examined and re-examined by police.
But that's the problem. If you say there's every piece of evidence, well, what evidence is there except that this child is missing? And the absence of evidence is also evidence. And that, to me, is starting to take us into suspicious territory, because children don't just disappear into thin air in an innocent way. I hope this case isn't going to go the way of Summer Wells, which I covered in depth on this channel, or Sebastian Rogers, or the Sullivan twins. All three of those cases involve missing children, and all three remain unsolved to this day. In cases like that, where children simply vanish, I personally doubt there's an innocent explanation, which means foul play is starting to emerge on day 9 as a distinct possibility in this case. And so I would say I've been holding it back until now. I would say on day 9, a red flag rises, and the possibility of foul play now emerges as a distinct possibility. Well, I'm not going to take it further than that. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.